You touch her again, and I swear money won't save you this time. A waitress said that to a billionaire, in front of 75 of the richest people in Chicago. She was shaking, scared out of her mind, but she didn't move. And what happened next changed everything. It was a Friday afternoon at the Sterling Tower Hotel in Chicago, the kind of place where champagne costs more than rent, where politicians shake hands with millionaires, where the staff knows to smile, stay quiet, and never make a scene. Clara Watson had worked there for 3 years, 26 years old, black, invisible. She carried trays, poured drinks, cleaned up after people who never looked her in the eye. That day started like any other. A fancy lunch, 75 guests, white tablecloths, crystal glasses, Lake Michigan glowing through the windows. Clara was refilling champagne when she heard the voice. Cold, sharp, angry. You're embarrassing me. Look at you. No one here respects you. They put up with you because of me. She looked up. Stephen Ross, billionaire, real estate king, the kind of man who could buy a building with a phone call. He was talking to his wife, Jasmine, 7 months pregnant, sitting next to him in a blue dress, hands shaking, eyes down. She tried to stand. He kept going. Stephen, please, not here. Not here? You don't tell me what to do. Then Clara saw it. His hand went to his belt. He didn't take it off, just pulled it halfway out, slowly, like a warning. Like he was saying, wait till we get home. The room went quiet. People noticed, but no one said anything. They looked at their phones, adjusted their jackets, stared at their plates. 75 people saw it happen. 74 looked away. Clara didn't. She put down the champagne bottle. Her hands weren't shaking yet. She walked over, right between them. Every head turned. Sir, I think your wife needs some air. Let me help her to the restroom. Stephen looked at her like she was dirt on his shoe. Excuse me? Who do you think you're talking to? Clara's heart was pounding, but she stayed. I'm talking to you, Mr. Ross. Please step back. The room froze. Someone in the back pulled out their phone. Stephen's voice dropped, quiet, deadly. You're a waitress. You pour drinks. You keep your mouth shut. That's your job. Do you understand me? Clara thought about her mom, dialysis 3 times a week, her brother, college tuition, bills piling up at home. She thought about everything she could lose. Then she looked at Jasmine, pregnant, scared, alone. And Clara said the words that would cost her everything. No, sir, I don't. Stephen's face went red. He stepped toward Jasmine again. Clara moved faster, blocked him with her body. Don't. He grabbed her arm, hard, fingers digging in. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Clara's arm hurt, her voice shook, but she didn't back down. She pulled out her phone, tried to hit record. Her hands were shaking so bad she missed the button. The screen stayed black. She didn't know that yet. She held it up anyway. You touch her again, and I swear money won't save you this time. Not with all these people watching. Not with me standing here. Stephen stared at her, then at the phone, then at the guests, all of them watching now, filming, frozen. He let go of her arm, smiled, cold as ice. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Staff issue. Please, enjoy your meal. He took Jasmine's arm, gentle now, for show, and walked her out. Clara stood there, alone, in the middle of the room, 75 people staring at her. The hotel manager appeared at the door. Miss Watson, my office, now. If you believe one person can make a difference, don't just watch, share this story. Subscribe, because silence is how the wrong people win. Click like, tell us where you're watching from. And never forget, sometimes doing the right thing costs everything. But it's still right. Clara Watson had been nobody for a long time. Not in the way that hurts at first, in the way that becomes normal, comfortable even. She started at the Sterling Tower 3 years ago, fresh out of community college with a degree in hospitality management that hadn't opened a single door. Her first day, the supervisor told her the rules. Smile, but not too much. Move fast, but don't run. And whatever you do, don't talk unless they talk to you first. Clara nodded. She needed the job. $18 an hour plus tips. It wasn't much, but it was something. Her mom's medical bills were piling up. Lupus doesn't care about your budget. Neither does kidney failure. The dialysis center sent reminders every month. Past due. Payment required. Her brother Marcus was at Northwestern. Smart kid. Always had been. Their dad died when Marcus was 12, heart attack. No warning. Gone before the ambulance arrived. Clara had held Marcus that night while he cried. Made him a promise. You're going to college. You're going to be something. I don't care what I have to do. She'd kept that promise. But it cost her. Every shift at the Sterling was the same. Arrive at 6 in the morning. Change into the black uniform, pressed shirt, name tag, shoes that hurt after the first hour. Stand in the back. Wait. Watch. The guests never looked at her. Not really. To them, she was part of the furniture, the chandelier, the tablecloth. Something that's supposed to be there but doesn't need acknowledging. Sweetheart, more coffee. No please, no thank you, just an order. Clara poured the coffee, smiled, moved on. You, the girl, what's your name again? She'd told him twice already. Clara, sir. Right, Clara. Can you bring more bread? She brought the bread. Sometimes it was worse. Do you people celebrate Christmas? You're pretty for a black girl. Can I touch your hair? Is it real? Clara learned to swallow it. Let it roll off. Keep moving. She had a routine for the hard days. Go home, lock the door, sit in the shower until the water runs cold. Don't cry where people can see. Her apartment was small, studio, one room, a bed, a table, a kitchen the size of a closet. But it was hers. The walls were covered in Marcus's report cards, straight A's, Dean's List, pre-med. Her mom's medical papers were stacked on the counter, insurance statements, bills, payment plans. Clara paid what she could, stretched every dollar, ate ramen most nights so Marcus could eat in the dining hall and her mom could get her medicine. She told herself it was temporary. One day, Marcus would graduate, become a doctor, take care of their mom. One day, Clara could stop being invisible. But for now, she kept her head down, smiled when she was supposed to, stayed quiet when it mattered. At the Sterling, she had regulars, people who came every week. She knew their drinks, their orders, the way they liked their napkins folded. But they didn't know her. Stephen Ross was one of those regulars. He came in once a month, always brought his wife, always sat at the head table. Clara had served him before. She noticed things about him. The way his smile didn't reach his eyes. The way Jasmine's hands shook when she reached for her water. The way the room got tense whenever he spoke. But Clara didn't say anything. It wasn't her business. She wasn't paid to notice. She was paid to serve. That's what she told herself. Until the day she couldn't anymore. October 17th started like any other Friday. Clara woke up at 5. Her alarm had been going off for 10 minutes, but she'd learned to sleep through the first few rings. She made instant coffee. Black, no sugar. Couldn't afford the good stuff this week. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Morning, sis. Got an A on my anatomy exam. Love you. Clara smiled. Typed back. Proud of you. Always. She didn't tell him she'd skipped dinner last night so he could have meal plan money. The bus to work was crowded. Rush hour. Bodies pressed together. Someone's briefcase jabbed her ribs. Clara stared out the window. Watched the city wake up. Chicago in October is beautiful. The leaves turning gold. The air crisp. Lake Michigan reflecting the morning sun. She got to the Sterling at 6:30. The kitchen staff was already there. Maria, one of the other servers, waved her over. Girl, did you hear? Stephen Ross is coming today. Big fundraiser lunch. Clara's stomach dropped a little. I heard. Maria lowered her voice. His wife's pregnant now. 7 months, I think. Someone said she looks scared all the time. Maria, I'm just saying, that man gives me the creeps. The supervisor walked in. Everyone went quiet. All right, listen up. We've got 75 guests today. High profile, no mistakes. And for God's sake, smile. The morning prep went fast. Tables set, glasses polished, champagne chilled. By 11, The guests started arriving. Clara recognized most of them: city council members, CEOs, lawyers in expensive suits. They moved through the ballroom like they owned it. Because in a way, they did. Stephen Ross arrived at noon. Tall, confident, the kind of man who walks into a room and expects everyone to notice. His wife, Jasmine, was beside him. Clara saw her and felt something twist in her chest. Jasmine was beautiful, mixed race, long dark hair, a blue dress that barely hid her pregnant belly. But her eyes looked tired, scared. She held Stephen's arm, but it looked more like she was holding on for balance. Clara served their table. "Champagne, sir." Stephen didn't look at her. "Just water for my wife. She's pregnant, obviously." There was an edge to his voice, like he was annoyed she'd asked. Jasmine gave Clara a small smile. "Thank you." Her voice was so quiet Clara almost didn't hear it. The lunch started. Speeches, applause, laughter. Clara moved between tables, refilled glasses, cleared plates. Everything was fine. Until it wasn't. She was at the table next to Stephen's when she heard the glass break. Not loud, just a small crack. Jasmine had knocked over her water. The glass tipped, spilled across the white tablecloth. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." Stephen didn't say anything at first. He just stared at the water, spreading across the table. Then his hand moved. Fast. He grabbed her wrist. "Can't you do anything right?" His voice was low, but Clara heard it. So did the people at the next table. They looked, then looked away. Jasmine tried to pull her hand back. "Stephen, please, you're hurting me." He leaned in close. "You're embarrassing me, in front of everyone. Do you know how that makes me look?" Jasmine's face went pale. "I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." "You're always sorry, and you're always useless." Clara felt her hands tighten around the champagne bottle. She told herself to keep moving, stay out of it. This wasn't her business. But Jasmine was crying now, quiet tears running down her cheeks, and Stephen wasn't letting go of her wrist. Clara took a step closer. She didn't plan it. Her feet just moved. Stephen was still talking, his voice getting colder. "You think anyone here respects you? They tolerate you because of me. Everything you have is because of me." Jasmine tried to stand. She was pregnant, unsteady. Her free hand went to her belly. "Stephen, please, not here. Can we just sit down? I need air. I just need..." That's when he did it. His hand went to his belt. Didn't unbuckle it, didn't pull it off. Just slid it halfway out of the loops. Slow, deliberate. A message. Clara's breath caught. She'd seen that look before, on her uncle's face, right before he hit her aunt, years ago, before her aunt finally left. This was that look. Jasmine saw it too. Her whole body froze. The room had gone quiet. People were watching now, but no one was moving. Clara looked around. 75 people. All of them saw. None of them did anything. And something inside Clara, something she'd kept buried for 3 years, finally broke open. She set down the champagne bottle. Her supervisor was across the room, shaking his head at her, mouthing the word, "Don't." But Clara wasn't looking at him anymore. She was looking at Jasmine, at the fear in her eyes, at her hand protecting her belly, at the way she'd gone completely still, like a deer caught in headlights. And Clara thought about her own mother, about Marcus, about every time she'd stayed quiet when she should have spoken. Not this time. Clara walked toward the head table. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought everyone could hear it. But she didn't stop. Clara stood there, between Stephen Ross and his pregnant wife. She could feel Jasmine trembling behind her. Every eye in the room was on them now. Stephen looked at Clara like she was an insect that had landed on his plate. "What are you doing?" Clara's voice came out quieter than she wanted. "Sir, I think Mrs. Ross needs some air. Let me help her to the restroom." Stephen's jaw tightened. "I'm sorry, who asked you?" "No one, sir. But she's upset, and..." "She's fine." He said it through his teeth. "Go back to work." Clara didn't move. She didn't know where the courage was coming from, Or maybe it wasn't courage at all. Maybe it was just exhaustion. 3 years of swallowing things she shouldn't have to swallow. "Mr. Ross, please, just let me help her." Stephen stood up. He was tall, over 6 feet, built like someone who spent money on personal trainers. Clara was 5'4", 120 pounds soaking wet. But she didn't step back. "Do you know who I am?" Stephen's voice was calm now, too calm. "Do you have any idea what I could do to you?" "I don't care." The words came out before Clara could stop them. Stephen's eyes went cold. "You don't care," he repeated it slowly, like he was tasting the words. "You're a waitress. You make what, $18 an hour? You think you can talk to me like that? I'm asking you to leave your wife alone." "My wife," he smiled, no warmth in it. "My wife is my business, not yours." Behind Clara, Jasmine's voice broke through. "Stephen, please, she's just trying to help." "Shut up." The room flinched. Stephen turned back to Clara. "You want to be a hero? Fine. Let's see how that works out for you." He moved toward Jasmine. Clara shifted, blocked him. "Don't." Stephen grabbed Clara's arm. Not rough, but firm, the kind of grip that said, "I own this moment. Move." "No." His fingers tightened. Clara felt the pressure, felt the bruise starting to form under his hand. But she didn't make a sound. Jasmine was crying harder now, one hand on her belly, the other reaching out. "Please stop. You're hurting her." Stephen ignored her, kept his eyes on Clara. "You just lost your job. I hope you know that." "I know. Your name will be poison in this city. No hotel will hire you, no restaurant, nothing." "I know. So why are you still standing here?" Clara looked past him, at Jasmine, at the tears on her face, at the way she was holding her stomach like she could protect her baby from all of this. "Because she's pregnant, and she's scared, and someone needs to stand up for her." Stephen's grip on her arm tightened. Clara bit down on her lip to keep from crying out. Then she did something she'd been too afraid to do. She pulled out her phone. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped it. She tried to open the camera, hit record. The screen opened. But in her panic, in the adrenaline flooding her body, she didn't see the red button. She thought she hit it. She thought she was recording. But the screen stayed black. Stephen saw the phone and laughed. Cold, bitter. "Go ahead, record it, post it online, see what happens." A black waitress, accusing me of what exactly? Disciplining my own wife? He leaned in close. "My lawyers will bury you before lunch tomorrow. You'll lose everything. Your apartment, your savings, your family." Clara's voice shook now, but she said it anyway. "You touch her again, and I swear money won't save you this time. Not with all these people watching." She held up the phone. "Not with me standing here." For the first time, Stephen hesitated. He looked at the phone, then at the guests. They weren't looking away anymore. Some had their phones out too, recording, watching. His empire had been built on silence, on people being too afraid to speak. But this girl, this nobody, was standing in front of 75 witnesses and refusing to back down. Stephen let go of Clara's arm, stepped back, adjusted his jacket. When he spoke again, his voice was calm, controlled. "Ladies and gentlemen," he turned to the room with a smile, "I apologize for this disruption, a small misunderstanding. Please, continue enjoying your meal." He took Jasmine's hand, gentle now, for show. "Come on, darling, let's get you some air." Jasmine looked at Clara. Their eyes met for just a second, and in that second, Clara saw it. Not gratitude, not yet, just recognition, like Jasmine had been invisible too, and for one moment, someone had finally seen her. Stephen walked Jasmine out of the ballroom. The door closed behind them. Clara stood there, alone, in the middle of the room, her arm throbbing, her hands still shaking. 75 people staring at her. No one said anything. Not one person came over. Not one person said, "Thank you, you did the right thing." They just stared. Then slowly, they went back to their meals. Like nothing had happened, the hotel manager appeared at the edge of the room, His face was stone. "Miss Watson, my office, now." Clara put her phone in her pocket, walked through that silent room, past people who wouldn't look at her anymore. And she thought, what did I just do? The manager's office was cold. Not temperature cold, the kind of cold that comes from fluorescent lights and corporate policies. Gregory Winters sat behind his desk, 50-something, white, the kind of man who measured success by how little emotion he showed. Clara sat across from him. Her arm still hurt where Stephen had grabbed her. She could feel the bruise forming, purple, by tonight. Winters didn't ask if she was okay. Didn't ask what happened. He just opened a folder on his desk and started reading. Clara Watson, 3 years of employment, no previous incidents. He looked up. Until today. Clara's throat felt tight. "Mr. Winters," he was threatening his wife. "She's 7 months pregnant." He pulled his belt. Winters held up his hand. "Miss Watson, I'm going to stop you right there." He leaned back in his chair. "What you did today violated several hotel policies. You interfered with a guest, you caused a scene, and you attempted to record a private moment without consent." "Private?" Clara's voice rose. "There were 75 people in that room." "Nevertheless." Winters folded his hands. "Mr. Ross is a valued patron of this establishment. He's donated over $2 million to various charitable events we've hosted. His business brings in significant revenue. He was hurting her. That's not for us to determine." Clara stared at him. "So we just let it happen? We watch someone get abused and do nothing?" Winters sighed, like she was being difficult. "Miss Watson, you're young. You don't understand how these things work. Men like Stephen Ross, they have lawyers, they have power. And when people like you make accusations, it doesn't end well. People like me." She said it flat, not a question. Winters didn't flinch. "People without resources, without connections. You think you did something noble today, but all you did was make yourself a target." He slid a piece of paper across the desk. "This is your termination notice, effective immediately. Violation of guest privacy, attempting unauthorized recording, insubordination." Clara looked at the paper. 3 years. Gone. "What about Jasmine?" "Mrs. Ross is fine. She and her husband left together. No complaint was filed." "Because she's scared." Winters stood up. "That's enough. Clean out your locker. Security will escort you out." Clara didn't move for a second. She thought about her mom, the dialysis appointment next week, the bills stacked on her kitchen counter. She thought about Marcus. Tuition due next month. She thought about her rent. Due in 2 weeks. And she thought about Jasmine's face. The fear in her eyes. The way her hand had protected her belly. "I'd do it again," Clara said quietly. Winters looked at her like she was stupid. "Then you're a fool." Clara cleaned out her locker. 3 years fit into a plastic bag. A spare uniform, a pair of flats, a coffee mug Marcus had given her for Christmas. Maria found her in the hallway. "Clara," I heard. "I'm so sorry." "It's okay." "It's not okay. What he did." "Maria," Clara touched her arm. "You have kids. Don't risk your job for me." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "You did the right thing. You know that, right?" Clara didn't answer. She didn't know anything anymore. Security walked her out through the service entrance. Not the front doors where the guests came in. The back, where the trash went out. The bus ride home felt longer than usual. Clara stared out the window, watched the city pass by. People going to work, going to lunch, living their normal lives. She pulled out her phone. Checked the video she thought she'd recorded. Her stomach dropped. Nothing. The screen was black. She'd opened the camera but never hit record. No evidence, no proof, no video. Just her word against a billionaire's. She pressed her forehead against the bus window. Wanted to cry but couldn't. Not here. Not in public. Her phone buzzed. "Marcus." "Hey sis, can you send me money for books? Need it by Monday." Clara closed her eyes. Typed back. "I'll figure it out." Another text. Her mum. "Baby, I need my prescription refilled. Insurance didn't cover it this time. It's $340. Clara's hands started shaking. She had maybe $800 in her checking account. Rent was $650. She did the math in her head. It didn't add up. When she got home, her apartment felt smaller than usual. She sat on the edge of her bed, looked at the walls. Marcus's report cards, his acceptance letter to Northwestern, his photo in his white coat from the pre-med ceremony, her mom's medical papers, appointment reminders, bills marked, final notice. Clara put her head in her hands. "What did I do?" she whispered. The apartment didn't answer. She sat there until the sun went down, until the room got dark, until she couldn't tell if her eyes were closed or open anymore. Her phone lit up the darkness. A news alert. She opened it. Nothing about the Sterling Tower, nothing about Stephen Ross, nothing about what happened, like it never existed. She checked social media. No posts, no videos, no witnesses coming forward. Stephen Ross's official page had a new photo. Him and Jasmine at the luncheon, both smiling, his arm around her. The caption, "Grateful for another successful event supporting Chicago's youth programs. Thank you to everyone who attended." 2,000 likes, hundreds of comments. Such a generous man. "You two are couple goals. God bless you both." Clara felt sick. She closed the app, opened her laptop instead, stared at the blank screen for a long time. Then she started typing. "What I saw at the Sterling Tower Hotel." She wrote everything. Every word Stephen said, every moment, every detail. She wrote about Jasmine's tears, about the belt, about the silence, about 75 people who chose to look away. When she finished, it was 2 a.m. Her eyes burned, her fingers ached. She saved the document. Didn't know what to do with it yet. But she couldn't let it disappear. Couldn't let it be like it never happened. Clara crawled into bed, pulled the blanket over her head, and finally, alone in the dark, she let herself cry. 3 days passed like fog. Clara applied for jobs, filled out applications at restaurants, hotels, coffee shops. Most didn't respond. The ones that did said the same thing. "We'll keep your resume on file," which meant no. She lived on ramen and toast, turned off the heat to save money, wore 2 sweaters instead. Marcus texted, asking about the book, money. Clara sent him $50, told him it was all she had right now. He didn't ask why. Her mom called. "Baby, did something happen? You sound different." "I'm fine, Mama, just tired." "You working too hard?" Something like that. Clara didn't tell her she'd been fired, didn't tell her about Stephen Ross or Jasmine or any of it. What would be the point? It was over, done, buried. On the 4th day, something changed. Clara woke up at 4 a.m. to a sound at her door. Not a knock. Something sliding under it. She sat up, heart pounding. Listened. Footsteps in the hallway, fast, moving away. She waited 5 minutes, then crept to the door, opened it slowly. The hallway was empty, but on the floor, just inside her apartment, was a manila envelope. No address, no stamp, no name. Just plain brown paper. Clara picked it up. It was thick, heavy. She closed the door, locked it, put the chain on, sat on her bed and stared at the envelope. Her hands were shaking. This could be anything, a threat, a lawsuit, something worse. But it could also be nothing. She opened it. Inside was a USB drive, black, no label, and underneath it, a small piece of paper. Handwritten, careful print. "You weren't the first to see. You were the first to stand. A friend in the shadows." Clara read it 3 times. Her chest felt tight. She looked at the USB drive, turned it over in her hands. This could be a virus, a trap, something to finish what Stephen started. But something in her gut said it wasn't. She plugged it into her laptop, held her breath. A folder appeared, 4 files. She clicked the first one. Security footage. Sterling Tower Hotel, October 17th, 12:47 p.m. The ballroom. Clara watched herself move through the frame, pouring champagne, smiling. Then the camera angle shifted. Stephen and Jasmine at the head table. The audio was clear. "You're an embarrassment. Look at you." Clara's breath caught. She kept watching. Stephen's hand going to his belt, Jasmine trying to stand. Her tears. The camera captured everything. 3 different angles, 3 different files. Every word, every movement, every threat. The 4th file was audio only. Clara clicked it. A woman's voice, shaking, scared. "My husband. He gets angry when I'm scared. I'm pregnant and I don't know what to." The call cut off. A dispatcher's voice. "Ma'am? Ma'am, are you there?" Silence. Then notes on the screen. Caller disconnected. Attempted callback, no answer. Address traced to Ross residence, Lake Shore Drive. No follow-up filed. The date stamp, 6 months ago. Clara played it again. Jasmine's voice, calling for help. And no one came. Clara sat back. Her laptop screen glowed in the dark room. Someone had sent her this. Someone with access to hotel security, to 911 records. Someone who knew what happened and kept the evidence. She looked at the note again. A friend in the shadows. Who? A staff member? A guest? Someone in the hotel's security office? It didn't matter right now. What mattered was this. She had proof. Clara watched the footage again. Stephen's face. Cold. Cruel. Jasmine's fear. Clara's own voice, shaking but clear. "You touch her again, and I swear money won't save you this time." She'd thought she had nothing. No video, no evidence, just her word. But someone had been watching. Someone had saved it. Clara pulled out her phone, searched for Jasmine Ross, found society page photos, charity events, Stephen's arm around her, both of them smiling. But nothing recent. She dug deeper, found a small mention in a lifestyle blog. Jasmine Ross taking time away from public life to focus on her pregnancy, currently resting at Lakeside Wellness Facility in Lake Forest. The article was from 3 days ago, right after the incident. Clara Googled the facility. Luxury Wellness Center, private, exclusive, a serene retreat for rest and recovery. The website showed photos of beautiful rooms, gardens, lake views. But the frequently asked questions section said something that made Clara's stomach turn. For the privacy and safety of our guests, visitors must be approved in advance by the patient and facility staff. Clara understood. It wasn't a wellness center. It was a cage. A beautiful, expensive cage where Stephen could keep Jasmine away from everyone. Away from questions, from help, from anyone who might ask if she was okay. Clara closed her laptop, looked at the USB drive sitting on her bed. She had the evidence now. But what was she supposed to do with it? Go to the police? They'd already ignored Jasmine's 911 call 6 months ago. Go to the press? Who would believe a fired waitress over a billionaire? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Clara stared at it. Let it ring 3 times before answering. Hello? A woman's voice. Young. Nervous. Is this Clara Watson? Who's asking? My name is Rachel Kimura. I was at the luncheon. I saw what you did. Clara's heart started racing. Okay. I recorded it, the whole thing, on my phone. Clara closed her eyes. You did? Yeah, clear video, audio, everything. Why are you calling me? Rachel was quiet for a moment. Because I'm scared. My boss does business with Stephen Ross. If I come forward, I lose everything. But I can't. I can't just delete it, not after what I saw. What do you want from me? I don't know. I needed to talk to someone who understands. Clara looked at the USB drive, at the security footage, at the evidence piling up. Can we meet? Clara asked. When? Tomorrow, somewhere public. Rachel agreed. They hung up. Clara sat in the dark. 2 pieces of evidence now, and a woman trapped in a wellness center with no way out. She didn't know what to do yet. But for the first time since she'd been fired, Clara felt something other than fear. She felt purpose. Clara met Rachel at a coffee shop in Evanston, far from downtown, far from the Sterling, far from anywhere Stephen Ross might notice. Rachel was 28, Asian American, dressed in jeans and a hoodie, trying to look like she wasn't someone who worked in finance. She sat in the corner booth, hands wrapped around a coffee she hadn't touched. Clara slid in across from her. "Thank you for coming." Rachel nodded. Didn't look up. "I haven't slept in 3 days. I know the feeling." Rachel finally met Clara's eyes. "My boss does deals with Ross Properties, millions of dollars. If he finds out I have this video..." "He won't." "You don't know that." Clara leaned forward. "Show me what you have." Rachel pulled out her phone, hands shaking. She opened her photos, found the video, hit play. Clara watched. It was all there. Stephen's voice, cold, cruel. Jasmine, crying. The belt. Clara, stepping between them. Every word she'd said. "You touch her again, and I swear money won't save you this time." The video was 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Clear, undeniable. When it ended, Rachel put her phone down. "I should have said something that day, should have done something, but I just stood there. You're here now. It doesn't feel like enough." Clara understood. She'd felt the same way every day since. "If we release this," Clara said carefully, "your life changes. You know that, right? Stephen will come after you. His lawyers, his people. They'll dig into your past. Find anything they can use." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "I know. So why risk it?" Rachel wiped her face with her sleeve. "Because I have a little sister. She's 16, and if she ever ends up with someone like Stephen Ross, I want her to know she can speak up, that someone will believe her." She looked at Clara. "You believed Jasmine. You didn't even know her, and you believed her." Clara felt something break open in her chest. "We can release it anonymously. Keep your name out of it." Rachel nodded slowly. "Okay. Yeah, let's do that." 2 days later, Clara got another message. This time through social media. A private account. No profile picture. "I know what Stephen Ross did. I worked for him. I have proof." Clara stared at the screen. Typed back. "Who is this?" The response came fast. "My name is Patricia Morrison. I was their nanny 3 years ago. I need to talk to you." Clara's hands went cold. She agreed to meet. Patricia's house was in Oak Park. Small, quiet street, garden in front. She opened the door before Clara could knock. 62, white. Grey hair pulled back, eyes that looked tired. "Come in, please." The living room was neat. Photos on the walls. Grandkids, maybe. Patricia made tea, neither of them drank. They sat across from each other. Patricia spoke first. "I saw you on the news. Local station did a small piece. Didn't mention names, but I knew. I knew it was him. You worked for them?" 3 years ago. Jasmine was pregnant with their first child." Clara leaned forward. "What happened?" Patricia's hands shook. "I saw things, heard things, the way he talked to her, the way she'd flinch when he came home." She paused. "One night, I heard them arguing. I was putting the baby's room together. Stephen was screaming. Then I heard something fall, a crash." Patricia closed her eyes. "I went to check. Jasmine was on the floor, holding her stomach, crying. Did you call someone?" "I tried. Called child services. Filed a report. Told them a pregnant woman was being abused." "What happened?" Patricia's voice went flat. "Nothing. The report disappeared. Someone made it go away. Money does that." Clara felt sick. "The baby?" "Miscarriage. 3 days later." The room went silent. Stephen told everyone it was natural. Complications. No one questioned it. Patricia looked at Clara. "I quit after that. But he made me sign papers. An NDA. Said if I ever told anyone what I saw, he'd sue me for everything." "How much did he pay you?" $50,000. Patricia's voice broke. "I took it. I needed the money, and I've hated myself every day since." Clara reached across the table, took Patricia's hand. "You're telling me now, because I can't live with it anymore. I watched you stand up to him, a young woman with everything to lose, And I'm sitting here, retired, safe, and I did nothing. Patricia pulled out a folder. Inside were notes, dates, details, incidents she'd witnessed. I kept records, even though I wasn't supposed to. I couldn't just forget. She pushed the folder toward Clara. I'll break the NDA. I don't care anymore. Let him sue me. I'd rather lose my house than keep this secret. That night, Clara's phone rang again. Another unknown number. Clara Watson? Yes. My name is Maya. Jasmine's my sister. Clara sat up straight. Is she okay? Maya's voice cracked. I don't know. I haven't been able to see her. They won't let me into that facility. Stephen's lawyers blocked me. When did you last talk to her? 2 years ago. He cut her off from everyone, changed her number, moved her to a different house. I tried everything. Maya was crying now. I saw something on the news about an incident at the Sterling Tower. Was that her? Yes. Is she hurt? Clara thought about the video, about Jasmine's tears, her fear. She needs help, real help. Then help me get her out, please. That's my sister, and I've been trying to reach her for 2 years. Clara looked at the evidence spread across her bed. The USB drive, Rachel's video, Patricia's notes, and now Jasmine's sister, desperate, alone. I'll help, Clara said, but I need you to trust me. I do. You're the only person who's ever stood up for her. When they hung up, Clara sat in the quiet. 4 people now, all of them carrying pieces of the truth, all of them scared, but all of them ready. Clara opened her laptop, started making a list of names. Journalists, advocacy groups, lawyers. Someone who couldn't be bought. Someone who would listen. She didn't know if this would work, but she knew she couldn't stop now. Not with Jasmine still trapped. Not with the truth sitting right there. Clara looked at Patricia's notes one more time. At the top of the first page, Patricia had written something in red ink. Someone has to stop him before another woman gets hurt. Clara picked up her phone, started searching for investigative journalists in Chicago. Found one name that kept coming up. Marcus Freeman. Award-winning reporter, known for taking down corrupt politicians, corporate fraud, stories other people were too afraid to touch. Clara clicked on his contact page, typed an email. Mr. Freeman, my name is Clara Watson. I have evidence of abuse, cover-ups, and a pattern of violence involving one of Chicago's wealthiest men. I have witnesses, I have video. And I have a woman who needs help before it's too late. If you're willing to listen, I'm willing to tell you everything. She hit send before she could change her mind. Then she waited. Marcus Freeman responded in 4 hours. Meet me tomorrow, 2 p.m., Tribune offices. Bring everything you have. Clara barely slept that night. She kept thinking about what came next. Once this story went public, there was no taking it back. Stephen would come after her, after Rachel, after Patricia. He'd use every lawyer, every connection, every dollar to destroy them. But if they didn't speak now, Jasmine would stay trapped. And the next woman after her would suffer too. The Tribune building was downtown, glass and steel, busy lobby. Clara felt out of place in her old jeans and coat with the broken zipper. Everyone around her looked important, like they belonged. She almost turned around. But then she thought about Jasmine's face, her tears, her hand on her belly. Clara took the elevator to the 7th floor. Marcus Freeman's office was small, messy, papers everywhere. He stood when she walked in. 40 years old, black, tall, the kind of face that had seen too much but hadn't stopped looking. Clara Watson? Yes, sir. Sit, please. She sat. Marcus closed the door, pulled up a chair across from her. You said you have evidence. About Stephen Ross. Clara nodded, pulled out her laptop, the USB drive, Patricia's folder. I have security footage, a witness video, testimony from his former nanny, and a 911 call that was never followed up on. Marcus leaned forward. Show me. Clara played the security footage first. Marcus watched in silence. His face didn't change, but his jaw tightened. Then Rachel's phone video. Then the 911 call. When it ended, Marcus sat back. How did you get the security footage? Someone sent it to me, anonymously. Who? I don't know. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he looked at her. You understand what you're starting here. Stephen Ross isn't just rich. He's connected. Judges, politicians, police chiefs. He's donated to half the city council's campaigns. I know. He will come after you. Lawsuits, character attacks. He'll dig into your life and find anything he can twist. Clara's voice was steady. I've already lost my job. I have nothing left to lose except my integrity. Marcus studied her face. Why are you doing this? Clara thought about that morning at the Sterling, about Jasmine's fear, about the 75 people who looked away. Because no one else did. Marcus nodded slowly. I've been hearing rumors about Stephen Ross for years. Women who worked for him, employees who left suddenly, NDAs everywhere. But no one ever had proof. He gestured to the evidence on his desk. This is proof. Will you write the story? Marcus looked at her for a long moment. I need to talk to your witnesses first. Rachel, Patricia, Jasmine's sister. Rachel wants to stay anonymous. I can work with that, but I need to verify everything. If I'm going to publish this, it has to be airtight. One mistake, and his lawyers will tear us apart. How long will that take? A week, maybe 2. Clara's heart sank. Jasmine doesn't have 2 weeks. She's locked in that facility. She needs help now. Marcus picked up his phone. I know someone at the DA's office. Let me make a call. 3 days later, Clara met the others at Marcus's office. Rachel came in disguise. Sunglasses. Hat pulled low. Patricia brought more documents. Medical records she'd kept from Jasmine's first pregnancy. Maya brought photos of Jasmine, before Stephen, smiling, free. Marcus interviewed each of them separately, recorded their statements, asked hard questions. When he was done, he called them all together. Here's what we're going to do. We release everything at once. Sunday night, 8 p.m., online article, social media, video clips. I'll contact other news outlets, so they all have it simultaneously. He can't suppress them all. Patricia spoke first. What about Jasmine? She's still in that place. Marcus nodded. I talked to the DA. They're opening an investigation based on the 911 call and security footage. They'll send someone to check on her welfare. When? Maya's voice broke. Tomorrow. Maya started crying. Rachel put her arm around her. Marcus looked at Clara. You ready for this? Once it's out there, your life changes. Forever. Clara thought about her mom, about Marcus and his tuition, about the rent she still hadn't paid. She thought about the quiet life she'd been living, invisible, safe. Then she thought about Jasmine, about every woman who'd been hurt by Stephen Ross and stayed silent because no one would believe them. I'm ready. Marcus stood. Then let's bring him down. That night, Clara couldn't eat. She sat in her apartment, lights off, staring at her phone. Tomorrow, investigators would go to that facility. In 4 days, the story would go public. And after that, nothing would ever be the same. Her phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. I'm scared, but I'm glad we're doing this. Another from Patricia. Thank you for giving me the courage to finally speak. Another from Maya. Whatever happens, you saved my sister's life. I'll never forget that. Clara read them all. She didn't feel brave. She felt terrified. But she also felt something else. She felt like she mattered. Like her voice, her small, quiet, invisible voice, had finally broken through. And maybe that was enough. Clara looked at the list of bills on her counter. Rent, overdue. Her mum's prescriptions, unpaid. Marcus's books, still needed. She had $8 in her checking account. No job, no prospects, no safety net. But she had something more important. She had the truth, and she was about to give it to the world. Clara closed her eyes, whispered a prayer she hadn't said in years. God, if you're listening, please let this matter. Please let it mean something. Please let Jasmine be okay. The apartment stayed quiet. But somewhere deep inside, Clara felt something shift. Not peace, exactly, but certainty. She'd done the right thing. And whatever came next, she'd face it standing up. Not invisible anymore. Not silent anymore. Just Clara Watson, a waitress who refused to look away. And somehow, that was going to be enough. Sunday came too fast and too slow. Clara spent the day pacing her apartment. Marcus had texted her that morning. Story goes live at 8 p.m. Brace yourself. At 7:30, Clara sat on her bed, laptop open, phone in her hand. Rachel texted, "I'm with my family. Whatever happens, we're in this together." Patricia called, "I'm ready. Let the truth come out." Maya sent a photo. Jasmine, in a hospital room, not the wellness facility. The DA's investigators had gotten her out 2 days ago, taken her somewhere safe. She looked tired, scared, but alive. Clara stared at the photo. This was why. At exactly 8 o'clock, Marcus Freeman's article went live. Invisible No More, Chicago Billionaire's Hidden History of Abuse. The headline sat at the top of the Tribune's website. Below it, Clara's story, Rachel's video, Patricia's testimony, the 911 call. Everything. Clara's phone exploded. Notifications, messages, calls. She watched the article get shared, once, 10 times, 100. Within 20 minutes, it was trending on Twitter. Number, believe Jasmine. Number, Clara spoke. People Clara had never met were reading her words, watching the video, listening to Jasmine's terrified voice on that 911 call. At 8:30, CNN picked it up. At 9, MSNBC ran a segment. By 10, it was national news. Clara sat in her dark apartment, watching her phone light up over and over. Some messages were kind. "You're a hero. Thank you for speaking up. You saved her life." Others weren't. "You're lying for attention. Gold digger. You'll pay for this." Clara's hands shook as she read them. Marcus called. "Don't read the comments. Not tonight. Just know it's working. Stephen's PR team is scrambling. His lawyers released a statement, but it's weak. People are listening to you." "What about Jasmine?" "She's safe. The DA has her in protective custody. She's giving a full statement tomorrow." Clara closed her eyes. "Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with this story. Not many people have your courage." When they hung up, Clara kept watching. By midnight, more women had come forward. Former employees of Ross Properties, assistants, interns, all with stories of harassment, threats, abuse, all staying silent because they thought no one would believe them. Until now. The hashtag kept growing. Number, believe Jasmine. 1 million mentions, then 2 million. Clara's story had opened a door, and women everywhere were finally walking through it. Monday morning, Stephen Ross's company released a statement. Stephen Ross vehemently denies these baseless accusations and will be pursuing legal action against those involved in this smear campaign. But by Monday afternoon, things started falling apart. 3 board members resigned. Major investors pulled funding. Ross Properties stock dropped 28%. Politicians who'd taken his donations scrambled to distance themselves. By Tuesday, the Chicago DA announced a criminal investigation. By Wednesday, Stephen Ross stepped down as CEO. Clara watched it all happen from her tiny apartment. She still had no job, still had bills she couldn't pay. But something had shifted. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something told her to. "Hello? Clara?" The voice was soft, shaking. "This is Jasmine." Clara's breath caught. "Jasmine, are you okay?" "I'm safe. Maya's with me. The investigators got me out of that place." "I'm so glad." Jasmine was quiet for a moment. "I wanted to thank you for seeing me, for not looking away." Clara's eyes filled with tears. "You don't have to thank me." "Yes, I do. You risked everything. Your job, your safety. You didn't even know me." "I knew enough." Jasmine's voice broke. "For 3 years I thought I was crazy, that it was my fault, that no one would believe me. I believe you. I know, and because you did, I finally believe myself." They talked for 20 minutes. Jasmine told her about the investigators, about leaving that facility, about finally being free to speak. The DA wants me to testify, in court, against Stephen. Will you? Yes. Jasmine's voice was stronger now. I have to, not just for me, for our daughter. Your daughter? She was born yesterday, 3 weeks early, but healthy, beautiful. Clara wiped her eyes. What's her name? Hope. Clara smiled through her tears. That's perfect. Clara? Yeah? You gave me that, Hope, when I had none left. When they hung up, Clara sat in the quiet. Outside, the city was waking up. People going to work, living their lives. And somewhere in Chicago, Jasmine was holding her daughter. Free. Safe. Believed. Clara's phone buzzed again. A notification. Someone had started a GoFundMe. Support Clara Watson, the waitress who stood up. Clara clicked on it. The description told her story, asked people to help with her lost income, her family's medical bills. She scrolled down to the donations. $50, $20, $100, $10. Strangers from all over the country. Thank you for your courage. You inspire me. The world needs more people like you. By that afternoon, it had raised $40,000. By evening, $80,000. Clara stared at the number. She could pay rent, her mum's prescriptions, Marcus's books. She could breathe. Her mum called. Baby, I saw the news. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to worry you. Her mum was crying. I'm not worried. I'm proud. So proud I could burst. Marcus texted. Sis, you're all over the news. You okay? I'm okay. Better than okay. That night, Clara sat by her window, watched the lights of Chicago glow in the darkness, thought about how much had changed in 2 weeks. She'd lost her job, her safety, her invisibility, but she'd gained something bigger, her voice, and she'd used it to save someone's life. Tomorrow, the fight would continue. Lawyers, courtrooms, testimony. But tonight, Clara let herself feel it. Not pride exactly, just peace. The kind that comes from knowing you did the right thing, even when it cost everything. Especially then. 4 months later, Clara stood in a courtroom in downtown Chicago. Not as a defendant, as a witness. She'd been called to testify in the criminal case against Stephen Ross. The courtroom was packed, media, supporters, curious onlookers. Clara wore a simple blue dress, her hair pulled back, hands folded in her lap. She wasn't invisible anymore. But she wasn't trying to be seen either. She was just there to tell the truth. The prosecutor called her name. The state calls Clara Watson. Clara walked to the witness stand, put her hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. She looked out at the courtroom, saw Jasmine sitting in the front row, Maya beside her, Rachel a few rows back, Patricia near the door. All of them there. All of them standing together. The prosecutor asked her to describe what she saw that October afternoon. Clara told the story. Simply, clearly, no drama, just facts. Stephen's words, Jasmine's tears, the belt, the threat. And what did you do, Miss Watson? Clara looked at Stephen. He sat at the defense table. Expensive suit, blank expression. Like he was bored. I stepped between them, told him to stop. Why did you do that? Clara thought about the question. Because she needed help, and no one else was helping her. Were you scared? Yes. But you did it anyway? Yes. The defense attorney tried to shake her story. Accused her of wanting attention, money, fame. Clara stayed calm. I didn't want any of this. I just wanted her to be safe. When Clara stepped down, Jasmine was next. She walked to the stand slowly, wearing a grey dress, no makeup, hair simple, but her eyes were clear. She told her story. 3 years of abuse, isolation, fear. The miscarriage from the first pregnancy. The threats, the control, the nights she thought she wouldn't survive. And then that afternoon at the Sterling. I thought I was going to die, Jasmine said quietly. or that he'd hurt our baby. And then Clara stepped in front of me. Her voice broke. I'd never seen anyone stand up to him before. Never. And this woman, this stranger, she risked everything. Jasmine looked at Clara. She taught me that my voice mattered, that I deserved to be protected, that silence wasn't keeping me safe, it was killing me. The jury watched in silence, some of them wiping their eyes. After 3 days of testimony, the jury deliberated. 97 minutes. They came back with a verdict. Guilty. All counts. The courtroom exhaled. Jasmine broke down crying. Maya held her. Clara sat still, hands clasped, eyes closed. She didn't feel victorious. She just felt tired and relieved. 1 year after that October afternoon, Clara stood in a community center on Chicago's South Side. The space was bright, clean, hopeful. A sign above the door read, New Horizons Center. It had been Jasmine's idea. After the trial, after the divorce, after securing custody of her daughter, Jasmine had done something unexpected. She'd taken the settlement money and created a place for other women. Women escaping abuse, women finding their voices, women learning they deserved better. Clara helped run it. Not as a director, she didn't want titles. She just showed up, listened, helped where she could. Today was the 1-year anniversary. The center was packed with women, survivors, supporters, people who'd found safety here. Jasmine stood at the front, holding her daughter Hope, 14 months old now, smiling, safe. A year ago, I thought my story was over. I thought I'd spend the rest of my life trapped, scared, silent. Jasmine looked at Clara. And then a waitress I'd never met decided I was worth saving. She didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, but she saw me, really saw me, and she refused to look away. The room was silent. This center exists because of her courage, but more than that, I exist because of her courage. My daughter has a mother because Clara Watson decided one person's life was worth risking everything for. People started clapping. Clara felt her face flush. She didn't like the attention, but she understood why Jasmine needed to say it. After the speeches, after the celebration, a teenage girl approached Clara. Maybe 16, thin, scared eyes trying to look brave. Miss Watson? Clara turned. Hi. I saw what you did, last year, on the news. Clara waited. I was living with my stepdad. He hurt me, and my mum, for years. The girl's voice shook. I didn't think anyone would believe me, but after I saw you, I told my school counselor, and she believed me. We got out, last month. Clara felt her throat tighten. I'm so glad you're safe. The girl's eyes filled with tears. I wanted to thank you for showing me it was possible, for proving that speaking up matters. Clara knelt down to meet her eyes. You did that. You found your voice. You saved yourself. But you showed me I could. The girl hugged Clara, and Clara held her. This stranger, this survivor, this girl who'd been invisible too. When she pulled back, the girl smiled. My name's Ayana. I'm going to be a social worker someday, help other girls like me. You're going to be amazing. Ayana walked away, and Clara stood there. In this center, full of women finding their strength. She thought about that October afternoon, about the choice she'd made, about everything it had cost and everything it had given. She looked around the room, at Jasmine, laughing with her daughter, at Patricia, counseling a young mother, at Rachel, who'd quit her corporate job and now worked here full-time, at Maya, coordinating family services, at Marcus Freeman, who'd just arrived to interview survivors for a follow-up story, all of them connected by one moment, one choice, one woman deciding that silence wasn't an option anymore. Outside, the sun was setting over Chicago. The city glowed gold. Clara walked to the window, thought about her mum, healthy now, dialysis, going well, about Marcus, graduating this spring, on his way to medical school, about the life she'd built from the ashes of the one she'd lost. She wasn't a waitress anymore. She was a voice for the voiceless, a light in dark places. A reminder that courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It just means you move anyway. Clara smiled, turned back to the room, and went to help the next woman find her way home. Because some moments change everything. Some voices echo forever. And some choices, the hardest ones, the scariest ones, the ones that cost you everything, those are the ones that save lives. Not just the lives of the people you help, but your own life too. Clara Watson had been invisible once, but not anymore. Now she was the light that helped others step out of the shadows. And that was more than enough. That was everything.